Hey, it's Jen. Hi. If you press play on this episode, I'm going to assume something. You're not lacking ambition. You're not lazy. You're not bad at visibility. You're probably just tired of feeling exposed. Because here's the thing I wish someone had told me earlier. Most of the time, confidence isn't the problem, safety is. And today I want to talk about something that helped me show up, speak up, lead rooms, and still go home with energy left in my body. Not fake confidence, not boss babe energy, not pretending to be someone I'm not. An alter ego, or as I prefer to call it, borrowed bravery. And before you think this is about putting on a mask or becoming someone else, stay with me. Because what I'm going to share today isn't about performance in the toxic sense, okay? It's about protection, it's about preservation, and it's about recognizing that you can be deeply authentic and strategic about how much of yourself you give to certain rooms, especially in business, but also in other types of situations. Let me start here. The first time I noticed, I felt like I had to perform when I was on a big stage in front of my biggest group ever. And it wasn't because I was insecure, it was because I was standing in a room full of the wrong people. People who didn't get me, didn't speak my language, didn't value softness, nuance, sensitivity, or depth. And suddenly, my body went into alert mode. You know that feeling where you start monitoring yourself, your tone, your words, your posture, the way you laugh, the way you even hold your face, like basically everything about yourself. Not because you want to impress, but because something doesn't feel safe. And that distinction, that's everything in this case. Because we love to frame performance as a personal flaw. Oh, I'm performing. Oh, I'm not authentic. Oh, I should just be myself. But what if the issue isn't you? What if the issue is that the room and the people in there don't know how to hold you? I spent years thinking I was the problem, that I was too sensitive, too much, too intense. And then I learned about the nervous system, about threat detection, about what happens in your body when you're in an environment that doesn't feel psychologically safe. Psychological safety, by the way, is when you can speak up, take risks, make mistakes, or just be yourself without fear of judgment, punishment, or rejection. When that's missing, when a room doesn't have it, your nervous system picks up on it before your conscious mind does. Your body isn't wrong, and your instinct to adjust isn't weakness, it's survival. And once I understood that, everything shifted. I stopped asking, why am I being fake? And started asking, what does this room need from me? And what do I need to protect in order to give it? Let's clear something up. There's this idea floating around, especially online, that if you have an alter ego or persona, you're choosing to perform, as if that's inherently bad, as if adaptability is the same as dishonesty. So let me give you a little reality check. According to psychological research and honestly just common sense, people are not the same at work as they are at home. This isn't controversial. This is documented. In psychology, this falls under role theory and contextual behavior. Role theory basically says we all play different roles depending on where we are and who we're with: parent, employee, friend, leader. And contextual behavior just means that we adjust how we act based on the situation. It's not fake, it's how humans have always functioned. Humans adapt. We always have. You speak differently to your best friend than to your accountant. You show different parts of yourself to your partner than to a stranger. You don't act the same at a funeral as you do at a birthday party. That's not fake. That's functional. In organizational psychology, research shows that people naturally regulate these things: emotion, language, boundaries, and behavior, depending on the context that they're in. And here's what's wild: the people who do this consciously, who understand which version of themselves is needed where, actually report higher well being and lower burnout. Because, they're not constantly leaking energy. They're not giving everything to everyone. They're being intentional. So when someone says, if you have a persona, you're not authentic, I gently and lovingly call bullshit. Because authenticity isn't being the same in every situation. Authenticity is alignment in your values. It's knowing your values and living by them, even when the wrapper changes. Now, here's where this gets even more personal. And it's kind of funny. I've chosen my career as a creative writer, club leader, and podcaster, if you think about it, because I'm highly sensitive. I have ADHD and I'm gifted, which basically means that I process more stimuli, I feel intensity way faster, and I drain quicker in high demand environments. Big meetings, stages, presentations, events, networking rooms where everyone's performing enthusiasm. Without structure, my nervous system is like, absolutely not. We're done here. And here's what I learned the hard way: if I don't create a container for myself in those moments, I'm completely wrecked afterwards. Not tired, just completely emptied, right? The kind of empty where you get home, sit on the floor, and can't form sentences, where your partner asks how it went and you just stare. So, my alter ego isn't about ego, it's about energy management. It's a filter, a boundary, a way to show up without burning myself alive. And here's the part people don't talk about. For neurodivergent and highly sensitive people, masking is already happening constantly. We're already modulating, already translating, already managing 1,000 micro adjustments just to exist in neurotypical spaces. So if I'm going to mask anyway, and let's be honest, sometimes I really have to, I'd rather do it on purpose. I'd rather choose the version of masking that protects me, supports me, and lets me do the work I'm here to do, not the kind that erases me. And the thing is, also for non-divergent people, this can be very tiring and erasing. So you do you and create something that makes you better. Before a big speech or a presentation, I don't magically feel confident. I talk to myself. And it kind of sounds like this: girl, you have a huge soft ass side, and I love her. But right now, you gotta rock this. So off you go, and you are going to rock it. And that's not self abandonment, that's self leadership. And here's why this matters. When you lead yourself like this, when you consciously choose which part of you shows up, you actually perform better because you're not fighting yourself. You're not spending all the mental energy trying to suppress one part while forcing another. You're making a clear decision, and that clarity frees up your brain to focus on the actual task. Less internal conflict means more presence, more flow, and better execution. My softness doesn't disappear, of course. It just doesn't have to be on stage with me the whole time. And that distinction matters. Because sometimes the most loving thing you can do for your sensitive self is not to drag them into a room that will deplete them. Sometimes the most loving thing is to say, I got this and you can rest. And then step into the version of you that can handle it. The version that's a little sharper, a little louder, a little less permeable. Not because they're better, but because they're built for this specific moment. This is where I want to be very clear. There's a difference between using an alter ego as support and hiding behind one. And the difference is not philosophical, it's somatic. You can basically feel it in your body like the way that I do. And When I'm hiding, I feel disconnected and I feel rigid and I feel like I'm acting against myself. My chest gets tight and I hold my breath. But when I'm supported, I feel grounded. I feel focused, calm, even when I'm under pressure. My breath is full and I can still access humor, warmth, and play. The alter ego doesn't erase me, it holds the room for me. An alter ego is a form of consent with yourself, if you will. It creates space so I can do the thing without collapsing. And after that, I can come back, I integrate, and I soften again. But I don't carry the weight of that performance into my body the way I used to, you know? And that really makes me feel a lot lighter. Here's why this actually works from a psychological standpoint. One, distance reduces threat. When you're not experiencing everything as this is all of me, your nervous system calms down. There's research in cognitive psychology around self distancing, the practice of observing yourself from a slight remove. People who use third person self talk, like you got this instead of I got this, show better emotional regulation and performance under pressure. So that's already a good one. And the second one, predictability creates safety. A defined rule gives your brain the structure that it needs. So structure equals safety. When you know who you're being in a given context, you're not spending cognitive energy figuring it out in real time. You can just be that person. The third one is that self talk shapes performance. Studies on cognitive framing show that how we speak to ourselves directly affects confidence, clarity, and execution. Athletes do this all the time. Actors do this. Surgeons do this. It's not woo woo, it's just mental rehearsing and identity priming. And the fourth and last one is future self visualization increases resilience. Research shows that people who feel connected to their future self make braver, kinder, and definitely more grounded choices. When you can see the version of you who's already handled all of this, who's already on the other side, you borrow their calm and their confidence, which brings me to my favorite part. This is how I see alter ego work, okay? Create the person you'd like to be in 5 years and live up to them. And not in a hustle kind of way, not in a perfection kind of way, but in a values way. So just ask yourself, how do they speak? How do they hold pressure? How do they treat people? How do they treat themselves? Definitely, probably the most important one. What do they no longer tolerate? And what do they protect? Then ask what would make them proud today. And for me, the answer is simple: do good, be kind, take no bullshit, and show up with integrity. That's it. When I step into future Jen, I'm not becoming someone else. I'm becoming the version of me who's had more practice, who's healed a little more, who's clearer on her boundaries, who knows her worth without needing external proof. And the beautiful thing, the more I borrow that, the more I become it. Not because I'm pretending, but because I'm practicing. And if you don't have an alter ego yet, let me guide you right here, just softly, calmly, maybe grab a pen and paper. And if you feel like anyone could benefit from this, send them this episode because I do feel like this will help a lot of people. And also, this is not just about business. This can be for family dinners, when you're at a doctor's office, and I definitely use it there. When you're starting out with dating, when you're parenting, when you're in conflict, or, when you're just getting through a hard conversation. There's no cringe, there's no costumes, and there's no pretending. There's just awareness. So I'm going to take you through all the steps. And step one is name the moment. Ask, where do I feel least safe when showing up? And where do I shrink or over monitor myself or freeze? Be specific. Is it at client calls with a certain client or with team meetings when I'm with this very annoying dude? Is it when I'm trying to do some content creation for my own business and I feel like I'm inadequate? Is it during networking events because they just completely deplete you? Is it during pitching? Is it during conflict? Or even just with some, people in private situations? Step two is name the quality you need, not who you want to be, but what do you need? Is it calm or authority or playfulness or groundedness or, clarity or warmth? All of these are legit, and there are so many more that you could think of. Step three, let that quality become a version of you, not someone else, but a version of you. Ask all these little details, like how do they stand? How do they breathe? What do they know that I forget all the time? What do they give permission for themselves to do? All these little details will give you a sharper image of who you would want to become. And then the last step is step four, and that's borrow them temporarily. And you can say this out loud if you really need to, okay? And you just tell them, you got this. I'm stepping aside for a moment. That's it. You're not inventing them, you're giving them permission to step into a certain situation that's a little bit harder than all the other situations otherwise. And when it's over, you thank them and you come back. You place yourself back into your body and you rest. And, it's not like you're having a split personality, it's not like you're completely out of your body, but you just give yourself permission to step into those shoes. And here's the part that people don't talk about enough. The goal is not to need an alter ego forever. The goal is integration of being someone you actually really deserve to be. Over time, the qualities you borrow will settle into your nervous system. They will become more accessible to you as a person and as a whole, and you will definitely stop feeling separate. And then, one day you will realize, oh, I do not need armor today anymore. And this is pretty cool. And that's growth. That's what it looks like when you stop performing against yourself and start performing or acting with yourself. When the leader and the soft one are not at war anymore. When you can hold both, basically. So if you've been trying to be braver, try safer. If you've been pushing yourself to be confident, try supported. You don't need to expose your entire soul in every room, okay? Some rooms deserve your leadership, others deserve your softness. Some deserve neither or something totally different, which is a okay. And that doesn't make you fake. It actually makes you wise, and it will make the people around you wiser. So, forward this episode as quickly as possible. If this resonated with you, sit with this for a second. Who do you need to be right now? And what does that version of you already know? Borrow them, honor them. And when you're done, come back home to yourself until that person is basically a part of yourself. You're allowed to choose how you show up and learn from it, okay? And I will see you in the next episode. Bye bye. Before you go, if this resonated, you can always find me on Instagram and many other socials. That's where I share the quieter thoughts, the in-between moments, and the things I'm still figuring out in real time. You'll find me there under @withgenevieve. And if you're someone who loves beautiful things with a story, pieces made with intention, creativity, and care, we've also built a marketplace called Vondo. It's a space for curated objects, makers, and ideas that don't fit into fast, loud, or disposable culture. You can find that at Vondo or VE Ndaux.com, vondo.com. No pressure, no urgency, just places you're welcome to land, if it feels aligned. Thanks for being here and take good care of yourself.